screen now. Okay. In the last session, we was discussing about the UI path. Okay, robotic process automation using UI path, and I tried my level best. Okay, to convince how important the UI path is. Okay, when it comes to robotic process automations. As far as UI path is concerned, it has taken over almost 45 to 55% of the market. Suppose let's say there are 100 vacancy, out of which 55 comes directly from the UI path. Okay. I think already I have uploaded this in YouTube channel, my video. You can refer that introductory part. In today's session, let's try to execute some the programs, okay, using the UI path. A basic fundamental, will start with the fundamental things, okay, then slowly we'll try to program both for attended robot as well as unattended robot. Understood? So as you know now, I think you are familiar with that, how to install the UI path. It's a open source. Directly you can go to their official website, and directly from there you can download the UI path. Okay. So after successful installation of UI path, okay, so you can hover over to your search button. Okay, just type UI path. So here, okay, you will get two icons. Okay, one is for UiPath. One is called UiPath Studio. The another one is called UiPath Robot. Okay, so today's session I'm going to discuss about these two things. Okay, in what happens in the UiPath Studio, generally what we can do is we can design the programs as per the requirements of the client. Understood? Now, after successful designing the program, you can execute, okay, the same program in your machine, local machine. Okay, that can be achieved using UiPath Studio. Okay, remember, guys. Now, in the same way, let us imagine that you have designed the programs. Now, you want to execute that program somewhere in the server, or let's say somewhere in the remote machines. Okay, so in that cases, generally what we do, we try to make use of the UiPath robot. Understood? So let me switch on this. Okay, it's a hover over to this the icon called UiPath, and all the designing, all the programming, okay, of the RPA, robotic process automation, we carry using UiPath Studio. Okay, just click on this. Maybe this will take a little time. Till then, let's try to discuss about today's agenda. So in today's session, I'm going to discuss about the programs like, there is no theory part now. There is the program like dynamic messages. Okay, let's try to design the dynamic messages. In last session, we just displayed one greeting message. Okay, that's it. Now let us imagine someone is trying to contact you. Okay, from the remote areas. Okay, so you want to send some remote the greeting message to them. We can do it using the UI path. That we will try to design. Now next is arithmetic operation. Obviously, let's start with the basic things. Slowly we'll go for the orchestrator. Next is date and time, Boolean variables, decision making. Okay, how we can make decision, the concepts using the program. If-else statement. Okay, so next, the most important part is publishing. Okay, how to publish the bot in the UI path. Okay, so next, I hope all of you can see the bot now. 1 second, it is getting installed. It is just deploying now. Hold on. It's just configuring. Hold on. It will take time. Okay. This may take little time. So till then, we'll discuss about, yeah. I hope all of you can see the screen. Hope, can you see the screen, participants? Hello.
Sir.
Hello. Yeah, have a look on this. The moment when you click on that studio, so you will be hover over to this screen. Understood? So this is the main screen of the UI part, where you can create the projects. You can create the projects in using different options here, like process. Let's say you want to start from the scratch. Okay, from the beginning, you can use the process. You can have the library systems. Let us say you have created one folder or the project. So you can use that one as a library or the subclass for the other main projects. We can do it. Transactional process, agent process, and involvement. Today, in today's session, we'll try to discuss about this the process. Now, if you want to create a project, so generally what we can do is just hit on this process. Okay, so you will be hover over towards the next the menu here. Give the project name. Let's say the project name be demo CSE. Okay, demo CSE. Now, one thing what you need to understand, guys. See, the moment when you are giving any project name, make sure that there are no space in between the two words. Understood? If there are space, you will get the red color marks here. That means there is certain kind of an error here. Understood? So while creating the project, make sure that there are no space in between the two words, or you try to have only one word. That is better, I guess. Understood? Let me try to have group 2, demo group 2, okay, and create it. Create it. So it started processing. That means it will upload all the files, necessary files which are required to execute the programs using the UiPath. Now here what happens in UiPath is, it works most of the time, it works on JSON and XML file. Okay, so most of your libraries, default libraries will be saved using JSON as well as the XML file. We'll talk about that one. Okay, so it started adding the dependencies. We required a lot of dependencies here. Let's say you want to display a message. So we need a dependency, JSON file and XML file, okay, to display the message here. Okay, the same way input dialog box we have. Okay, so mail, if you want to send a mail, okay, so we should have different dependencies here. I hope all of you can see the main screen now. So in the last session, I was discussing about this main screen. So the total main screen is divided in 3 parts. This is the main activity part and the property part, and this is the area, okay, so where we are going to execute our program. But before starting the session, I just want to clear 2 things. You can see 2 buttons here, participants. First is called save, another is called publish. Understood? The major difference between these 2 is, suppose let's say you are saving a file, okay, it will be saved in your computer. Understood? Okay, just like both are same, almost the same, publish as well as the save. It will be saved in your file. When you are publishing the file or the project, okay, it will get converted into package. Understood? It will be saved in the form of the package. Next is the most important. The moment when you save the file, okay, so that file you can find inside. Go to C drive. Go to C drive. Under C drive, you will be having documents. Under documents, you can see the folder called UiPath here. Hope all of you can see the folder. Can you see the folder, participants? Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, have a look. I just went to documents. Just okay. Go to documents. Next, you will get the folder called UiPath. Inside this UiPath, you can see here. Just now, I created one project called demo group 2, and all those files, okay, will be saved inside this folder called group 2. Right now, I have one main class called main. Similarly, when you are creating new sub projects, understood? You are the UiPath itself. It keeps on creating the sub files inside the main file, and if you want to execute those sub files, okay, so generally we execute by taking the help of the main file here. We'll talk about that one. As I said, all the files are saved using, okay, the JSON file here. Okay, this is how the files are saved inside the UiPath. Okay, so only when you are using this button. Understood? Now in the same way, you can publish also. Okay, kind of in save only. You can publish also. The major difference between this and this is, okay, so the moment when you are publishing any bot or any other program, so that program you can execute remotely. Suppose let's say I have a system in the college, so I will write the program here and I can execute that program on my system, the remote system. Understood? So that is possible using the publish button here. Okay. So next is the moment when you are saving. This is very important. The moment when you publish this, where it will get saved. Okay, it is not going to save inside the document file. Remember, it is not going to save inside the default this document and UiPath. Remember, guys. So, moment when you are publishing any the project in UiPath, okay, it will be saved inside the C drive. Okay, inside the C drive, you will find go to view. Okay, go to view. Inside view, there is an option called hidden items. Generally, the the moment when you first hover, okay, open the C drive, you will get this default folders. Understood? So now next is there are some more folders here, okay, which are hidden. So hit on the hidden items. Okay, so you will get 3 more extra folders here. Understood? Okay, MSO, catch, and agent, as well as the data. Okay, program data. So hit on program data. Okay, click on the program data. Inside the program data, again you can see one more folder called the UI path. Understood? So UI path, inside the UI path, there is a folder called packages here. Understood? So when you are publishing any bot, so that bot or the package will be saved in this location. Okay, so you should be familiar with this. Understood? So in the same way, since it is a licensed one, UiPath is a licensed one, thanks to PA College. So we are registered with UiPath. Understood? And they have given us a license, the software. So when you have a license, all the details of license will be saved here. Okay, so hope you are clear with this. Now let's start to run some project. In the last session, I said you are familiar now how to send the greeting message. In the same way, let's try to make that one as a dynamic. Okay, so before starting any project in UiPath, generally what we do, we try to start the project either using the sequence concept or flow chart or state machine. Understood? In today's session, we'll try to discuss about the sequence as well as the flowchart machine. Okay, so let's start with the sequence. So hit on sequence. Okay, again you will be hover over to the new menu. Okay, here you just try to give the name, let's say dynamic. Okay, dynamic message or message. Okay, so here also the same concept you can follow. There should not be any space between the two words. Create it. Okay, create it. It will be created. Now you can see. Just focus on the library system, guys. Before I was in the main file. Okay, so now in the main file I have one more sub file here called the dynamic message here. Okay, so even if you check that location, the default location, there you'll find what in the documents UiPath, under UiPath. Okay, demo group. So you can see there are 2 files here now, dynamic message as well as the main message, and it keeps on incrementing that how you are creating the new projects or sub projects in the inside the project. Okay, now next is let's try to have, let us imagine that I want to give some dynamic greeting message. Okay, so to do that one, first is what I will do, I'll try to get the name from the client. Suppose let's say someone wants to ping me. Understood? So first what I will do, I want to have the name, okay, of that person. So to get that name, generally what I will do, I'll try to use input dialog box. Go to activity pan. Inside the activity pan, there is an option called input dialog box, and this the option will allow us to, okay, store the data. Okay, it will allow us to allow the client to insert the data from the main menu, and you can store that data in the server. Understood? So in the same way, the moment when you hover over, just drag and drop, guys. I'm not doing any kind of encoding here, remember. Okay, so you will get 2 options here. Inside sequence, you will get this the dialog box. Okay, so inside this, you'll get 2 options. One is for title, another one is for label. Let's try to have a title. Let's say enter title of the window. Remember, small window. I'm going to design now. Enter the num. Okay, enter the name. Okay, so here I want to send some label or the message. Let's say please enter your name. Okay, please enter your name. See here. Okay, so please enter your name. Now there is no error here. Okay, there is no error. Suppose let's say if I'm not using double quotes. Okay, so you will get the error. Let us say. Okay, have a look on this. You can see the blue mark here. Okay, that indicates that there are certain errors. Okay, so we need to rectify those errors. Then only you can execute this. Okay, this is one of the major benefit of advantage of using UiPath. If you compare this one with the C or C programming, you take Java, Python itself. You take. So we need to go to the particular code. Understood? So after going, we need to rectify it. Understood? But in the case of it is UiPath, it is not like that. Here itself, in the graphical user interface itself, we can rectify the error, and it will not allow us, okay, to run that particular project if you have any kind of an error here. Okay, so since it is a string, always remember when you are displaying anything, and when you are displaying anything on the screen, main screen, make sure that okay, you will convert that one in the form of string. Suppose let's say you want to display 1 2 3. For us, for our brain, it is a integer type. Okay, so when you are displaying that one in the screen, okay, so UiPath will try to convert that one in the form of the string. Okay, so here, so if you want to convert, always remember, since when you have any strings, have the double quote in between the strings here. Understood? Now you can see there are no error at all. So I can display this one. Let's try to save this. The moment when I hit on save, that will be saved in the default UiPath, the location. Now let's try to run this. Now if I want to run, hit on run button, green. Okay, so you can see the screen green. Okay, hit on there. That UiPath Studio will be minimized automatically, and you will get the pop-up menu. Now you can see here, have a look on this, what is executing. Understood? So without the involvement of the human. Understood? You can see the dialog box here. Please enter your name, which is nothing but my label, and this is nothing but the name here. Enter the name. Please enter your name. Let's say I have entered the name be, let's say, PA College. Paste. Understood? Okay. So that means that's it. Okay, we are not doing any extra thing here. Understood? It is just allowing the it pop-up will come out, window will come out. Okay, it will allow us to type the name. Now next is, okay, so just to, if I want to send some greeting messages, okay, the whatever the name I'm fetching from the client, I should be okay. I have to store somewhere in the database. Okay, so after storing in the database, or let's say some kind of in variable, so I have to fill that variable, the data which is there in the variable. Understood? Let's try to do that one. Now what I will do, okay, so already dialog, I have the dialog box. Now client is entering the name, let's say Pace is the name. I want to save that one. And to save that one, what we do, we try to make use of these three features. Remember, these are very important: variables, arguments, and imports. Okay, so we'll go for variable now. So I'll try to create one variable here. Okay, so if you want to create the variable, you can hit on variable here. Okay, so and you can directly create the variable. Okay, so here what I will do, if you want to create a variable, click on this input dialog box. Understood? So this is the location where I want to create the variable. Understood? So either you can directly go with the variable, hit on here. Okay, so it will allow us to create the variable straight away. Understood? The best practice is what I generally use. Here, when you are creating the variable, we have to mention the name also, what type of variable it is, whether it is an integer type, whether it is a string type, etc., etc. Understood? So the best practice is, the moment when you hit on this, you will get the output result here. Hope all of you can see the property panel participants. Hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Check on the result panel here. There is an option called result here. Okay, click on this box and hit Control K. Okay, press on Control K. So the Control K what generally does? Okay, it try to select the suitable variable type. Okay, which is required for this input dialog box. Now let us say name I want to store in the variable. Let's say name. Don't get confused. Let's say, yeah, I want to create one variable called name, and I want to store that name inside that name variable. Okay, hit on this. Okay, so now you can see by default, the moment when you created that effect, you can see here. Understood? So I have already one variable called name here. Understood? And it is of the variable type called generic value. Understood? So now next is, so now I can save that name. The moment when you run, the moment the client when he hits the button, okay, let's say I have typed paste will be stays saved inside the variable called the name now. Now I want to send a greeting message. Understood? To do send the greeting message, I'll try to use one more feature called message box here. Have a look on this. Under the activity panel, there is a message box. Just to drag and drop. Understood? Generally, what we do in the program, we use printf statement, okay, a println statement, okay, system.out.println statement in Java, okay, so print in Python programming language. Understood? Echo in PHP. Okay, so here there is nothing like that. Just drag and drop it. Okay. Now next is here. Let's say I want to display the greeting message like hello. Hello. Okay. Next is my data is stored where? Inside the variable called name. Listen guys, my data is stored inside the variable called name now. Okay, so if you want to hello, let's say Tanzim, I have entered Tanzim, hello Tanzim, it should come, understood? But where is that hello Tanzim is stored? Inside my variable called name. Now if you want to join those two strings, okay, generally what we do, we try to make use of plus symbol called concatenation, understood? Use plus symbol. Okay, now next to type name, understood? Type name, that's it. Hello XYZ, understood? Now next, okay, let's try to execute that. Let me see. Now you can see here there is no error at all here. Okay, there are no error. That error, I can run this. Let's try to run the code. Just to run using the green button here. It will be minimized. Again, the window will be pop up. Hold on. Window will be pop up and it will ask us to give the name or type the name. Let's say please enter the name. Let's say Tanzim. Okay, and okay, hit on OK button. So you can see here hello Tanzim. Hope you are cleared. Okay, so but the problem here is, if you are working in future, if you get a option to work on this graphical user interface, understood? So you need to concentrate all these things. There is no space between hello and Tanzim. Okay, so we need to give the space in between the hello and Tanzim. Again, we'll go to the UI path. So to give the space between hello and Tanzim, just give here after double quote, just hello, after hello, just give one space. That's it. Understood? Now next, hello space Tanzim will come. In the same way, let us imagine that I want to connect two strings in both sides, left side as well as the right side. So in that case also, we use concatenation method called plus symbol. Use plus symbol. Now next is, okay, greetings from, let's say greetings from Pace. Okay, greetings from Pace. Again, you just try to give the space after, before greeting. Understood? Now the most important, why you have taken this string is, okay, I just wanted to demonstrate. Okay, using the concatenation, we can combine the strings in the both the side, from left side as well as the right side also. Understood? So let me try to save this again, run again. Let's see what result I'm going to get this time. Hold on. Yes, let's say Tanzim, enter it. Now you can see hello Tanzim, greetings from Pace College. Okay, so Pace. I hope you are clear with this. The only difference here is I just made it dynamic. So client, whatever the client comes, okay, so let them enter their name and you can send the greeting message. Now it's up to you guys how we can implement this small model, okay, UI path model in the real time of the project. Now in the same way, let's try to have addition of two numbers now. Okay, so arithmetic operation. Quickly, I'll try to next. Again, I'll go to new sequence, have a sequence. Either you can take the sequence from new, or you can take the sequence also from activity panel. Remember guys, here also available. Let's try with the sequence here. Arithmetic operation. Okay, arithmetic operation. Okay, so next create it. Okay, so it will allow us to create one more file. Have a look on this third file I have created. Now next is for the arithmetic operation, I need two numbers. Okay, so let's say a plus sum is equal to a plus b. I want to display now. So how we can do it? First, I need the input box. Take the input box. Okay, so next, please enter the number. Type the title. Enter the number. Please enter the enter number. Okay, enter number, okay, which is going to be the title here. Now next, please enter the number. Please enter the number. So the user will enter the number and I have to save that number. To save the number, generally what I do, I'll go to result, control K. Now next, num1. Okay, so I'll type num1. In the same way, again I want another dialog box to enter the second number. I'll just drag and drop it, enter the number. Okay, enter number. Let's say enter number or second number also you can enter the second number. Please enter the second number. Okay, please enter the second number. Now next is here also I have to save this. To save, again you go to result, control K, num2. Okay, num2, enter it. Okay, so now I have two variables with the name of number 1 and number 2. Okay, you can see here number 1 and number 2 variables are there, which is of generic type. So you can change this to integer type also. Okay, if you want to accept only the integer type. There are other options also, like you can have array, object, string, integer, or boolean, etc., etc. We'll talk about that one. Okay, in next program. Now next is I need to have the formula, right? Okay, I want to create the formula. Let's say sum is equal to um, a plus b, number 1 plus number 2. Understood? So to do that one, I'll use another the option inside the activity panel. Say assign. You can see here assign. This is widely used. Okay, assign, drag and drop assign. But remember, while dragging and dropping, make sure that okay it should come after input dialog box 2. Okay, so here just drag and drop it. So I'm just dragging and dropping assign here. Understood? Now have a look on this input dialog box 1, input 2, input 3. Since we are using sequence, so it will execute sequentially one by one. Okay, in the flow when it comes to the execution of the data here. Now in the same way, okay, again I need one more variable. Okay, to store the value of number 1 and number 2. Okay, so here that I will create here. Now if you want to create, again I will type control K. Okay, have a look guys. Shortcut key. Okay, I'm using control K. Control K, automatically it will try to select the which type of variable you want to have to take the sum of two numbers. Now next is let's have sum. Enter it. Okay, done. Now next is again you can see here there is one more variable called sum, which is of generic type here. Understood? Now next is sum, where the values are stored now. Input. I'm fetching the data from the input dialog box, and I'm storing those data here, number 1 and number 2. Understood? So call that number 1 and number 2 here. Number 1, okay, num1. So num1 plus num2. Okay, num2. That's it. Understood? Now come out of this one. That means it's executing. Okay, there is no error so far. And believe me, guys, if you take sum of two numbers in other programming language, I think we need to write a minimum 10 lines of programs. 10 lines of code, you take the C programming. But here, just have a look on this. I'm not using any coding here, coding part. Understood? Just to drag and drop it. Okay, but the only thing is you should know how the sequence of the data, how the data flow, sequence of the data flow, you should remember here. Okay, next, since the date now, the final result is in here, sum variable. Again, I want to display that one. To display that one, again, I'll use message dialog box. Okay, message option. Just drag and drop it. Message box. Again here, the sum of just try to display some the script. The sum of two numbers. Number is, let's say, okay, let's have this comma. Now next is number is here. Okay, sum. Okay, call sum. Okay, to call sum you can have concatenate. Okay, sum. That's it. Okay, concatenate sum. Press it. Okay, so it is saved now. Okay, I hope all of you can see now. So just I have taken one message box. I've just written some script. The sum of two numbers. The sum of two numbers is okay, and that value is stored inside this sum variable. Let's try to run this. Okay, let's try to run. Let's see how I'm going to get the output. Hold on. Okay, first it will ask me to type the first number. Let's say 15. Next is it will pop up. This is the second input dialog box. Okay, let's say again I'll give 16. Enter it. Okay, the sum of the two numbers is, it's showing like 15 comma 16. Why it is so? Can someone tell me, participants? Hello. 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 It's just displaying it.
Yes, sir. Hello.
What is the reason? What is the reason here? Why it is displaying? Okay.
Concatenated.
It's not concatenated. Okay. So can we rectify this one? Can someone tell me how? Yeah, how we can rectify this?
It is not in integers.
Not in. It is in the integer form. Okay. Generic means it will take. Okay. So as per we need here. Okay. So now here, what I have done, what mistake I have done here is. Okay, so here you call this one in the bracket. Understood? Call this one inside the bracket. Let's see. Okay, now let's try to run this. Okay, let's try to run this. We'll see. Hold on. 15, 16. Some again it's showing what now? 15 plus some 16. What is the error? Tell me. It's showing now there is no error at all here, right? Yes or no? Yes or no, participants?
Yes, sir.
There is no error. Why it is so there? Let's see. Okay, let me try to. I will not use this assign. Let us try to have the value here itself. Okay, I have used concatenate. And next is num1. Okay, num1, right? Let me check here. Yeah, num1 and num2. Okay, num1 and num2. Not here. Num1 plus I'll have the arithmetic operation here on num1 num2. Okay, num1 and num2. Now let's try to run this. Okay. Hold on. Yes, 15, 16, 15, 16, right? Because see, this takes as an integer, remember. Okay, sorry, not integer. This will take it as a string here, sorry, the integer. But when you are displaying on the front screen, okay, so we need to convert this one into integer. So if you want to convert this one into integer, okay, so what you can do is, so after calculating, after taking the sum of two numbers, number 1 and number 2, convert it into integer. To convert it into integer, there is a method called toString. Okay, toString. Hit on this. Understood? Now let's try to run again. Let me try to save this. Again run. Again run. Let's see. 15, 16. 15, 16 is showing that means there is something wrong while feeding the data. Okay, in the input here. So here, so this is the variable, no, num1. Here generative type I have used. Let's try to change this one to integer type in 32. Okay, let's have in 32. Number 1 in 32. The same way, number 2 in 32. Okay, number two in 32. That means integer type I'm feeding here. And the same way, sum also I have to convert this type, variable type, to in 32. Okay. Now let's try to run again. Save it. Again, run the program. Hold on. Yes, 15, 16. Save. The sum of the two number is 31. I hope you are clear. Can you see that sum, participants? Hello.
Yes, sir.
What was a mistake?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
what was a mistake? Mistake was in
convert to
yeah.
Clear with
Mistake.
integer
Yeah.
type.
Yes. Mistake was in here, variable type. Understood. So convert it into integer type. Okay. So this is one of the major one of the best advantage, guys, of using UiPath. It will, even if you have created a variable and if the variable type is not matching, understood, specific, if you are not assigning any specific variable type, okay, it will not allow you to, okay, to perform the calculation here. Okay, perform any arithmetic operation, you take Boolean operation, etc., etc. I hope you are clear. You can take this one as an assignment also. You can try with other arithmetic operations, okay, like subtraction, square root of a number. Okay, next there are many the formulas you can try here. Okay, as far as this part of the this portion is concerned. And the same way, let's try to have another form. Okay, the example. Array. I think all of you guys are familiar with the array. Array is a homogeneous mixture of a similar item, right? So we can have the array also here. We can have the addition, subtraction, all the operations of the array. Okay, let's again. I'll go to sequence. Let me create another project, say array operation. Okay, array operation. Next is created. Again, I need two dialog box here. One, please enter the please enter. Okay, please enter the first number. Please enter the first number. First number. The same way, save this one here. Control K, num 1.5. Okay, the same way again I'll give one more dialog box here. Take one more dialog box. Please enter. Please enter. Okay, please enter the second number. Please enter the second number. Okay, save it. Control K. Okay, now next is here num2. I'll give num2 done. Okay, so it will allow us to feed two numbers. Now next is I want to save this one in array. Okay, to save this one in array, so what you can do is you can use this symbol assign. Okay, call assign. Okay, assign. Here you use Control K. Give the name for the variable. Let's say array. Understood? Give the name as array. Now next, let's try to check the type of the variable here. Now, if you go to variables of the option, you can see number 1 is a generic type, converted into integer type into, again you can have convert this one also into 2. Now when it comes to array, okay, this variable, okay, so it is, I'm going to store the two numbers in the form of array. Understood? So obviously this variable should be of type what? Array. Okay, so now you can say here, okay, array t, all of you can see here, array t, there is an option called array of t. Okay, hit on array of t. That means it will convert that particular variable into array option. As far as arrays are concerned, there are different types here. You can have string array, string of array, object array, generic type array, array of t, etc. Let's try to have array of integer 32. So that means in this array, I'm going to use only integer type of a data. Understood? So now next is I have converted all the variables here with respect to variable type also. Now next is how to save this one. If I want to save this, what you can do is, okay, I think it's familiar in the programs how generally we call the array. We call the array using this symbol, right? Okay, open and close bracket. Now next is, okay, next call the first one number 1. Okay, number 1 array. Okay, so here let me try to delete this. If you want, you can keep that as a dot of array. Now next is comma. Use comma number 2. It is number 2, right? Let me check. Yeah, number 2. Okay, so number 2, it is in the small value. Number 2, hold on. Number 2. Num2. Okay, num2. Now perfect. Got executed. Now next is, let us imagine that again I want to take take the sum of two number or subtract whatever operation you can perform here. Understood? Now what I will do, let's try to, if I want to display the value here, okay, I can again use message box. Okay, use message box. Now next is here, while calling the array, I think you might have learned in theory part. Okay, so if you want to fetch the data of the array, generally we fetch the data of the array using the index. Okay, here also generally we use the same concept. We will be using the indexing concept. Okay, so have the double open bracket and close bracket. Inside that one, you call the name of the array. Name of the array is array. Okay, array of first index. Can someone tell me first index? If I want to fetch the data of number 1, okay, you call array of 0. Array of 0 will have the data of number 1. Remember. Okay, then the same way, if I want to fetch the data of second array, so array of, I should call array of 1. Okay, array of 1. That's it. Understood? Now next is, since you might have continuously I'm repeating guys, because it is from my experience when I'm executing the programs. Understood? When I started learning UiPath, usually I used to commit this mistake. So array, it is fetching the data and taking the sum and it will display. No. Before displaying, have a look on this. Okay, the data is in the which form now? Can someone tell me? You check the flow of the data. Here also integer type, here also integer type, here also array type. Now, when you are taking the sum of the data, after taking the sum, the result also will be in the form of integer, right? Yes or no, participants? Hello, hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
the
Yes, sir.
sum will be also will be in the form of the integer. Remember, but when you are displaying that one on the screen, okay, so you have to convert that one into a string. Okay, so the moment when you hit on dot, okay, so you can in the last you can see two string option. Okay, so call that method called two string. Understood? It will convert. It will take the sum and it will convert it into a string. Now let's try to run this program. Before that one, let me try to save this. Now run the program. Hold on, hold on. It started executing. Okay, it executed. Now let's try to have 15. Let's try to have 16. Okay, let's try to have 10. Enter it. Hope all of you can see that is 25. It has given me the value as 25. But remember, for our eyes, our brain, it is an integer type. But when you are displaying that one on the screen, it will be in the form of a string here. Understood? Next is, hope all of you have cleared. If you any doubt, please let me know, participants. Any doubt? Any doubt?
No, sir.
No,
Okay,
sir.
quickly I'll try to finish this. Okay, because there are many things I want to
Sir,
discuss.
one problem, sir.
Yes, 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 please.
Sir, I'm trying same thing, sir, but it's giving some error here. When I'm
Maybe,
choose,
yeah.
when I
May,
choose assign function, sir,
sorry.
uh,
Yes.
I select assign tab, sir.
Hello.
Assigning.
Hello.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes,
Oh, okay.
yes. Hello. Yeah. What error you are getting? Maybe just check whether you have given the double quotes or not. Just check variable type most of the time. Okay, the developer commit the mistakes there while assigning the double quotes, while having the concatenation, understood, while converting into strings, understood. There generally, usually they commit mistake. Here also variable type. Check on variable type. Okay, and if not means just check the flow of the data. Okay, how you have taken, whether you have taken input dialog box first or message box first, just check the flow of the data. Understood?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, next is, don't worry, I will upload this one in YouTube, you can refer later. Okay, and start practicing, participant. You have complete 1 year now. You can do a lot of things using, okay, the UI path. Okay, at least before leaving the college, before leaving from college, I want you should be flexible with RE framework. You should be flexible with orchestrator. Okay, so you should know how to execute the program in using the cloud machines like AWS, Amazon. Okay, Azure is there, Alibaba is there. Okay, so you can integrate UiPath with those cloud machines. Okay, so next is, I said about this. So you can just in demonstration I went on. I was just saving this. Let's try to publish this now. Okay, so let us imagine that I want to publish this. Okay, so if I want to publish, go hit on the publish button. But remember, this is different. This is different, guys. Okay, so moment when you are hitting on publish, you can run in the orchestrator. Okay, so now next is, let me try to run hit on publish. So it will ask, have a look on this. There are two options here. The moment when you hit on the publish, you will be having robot default or custom robot. It's kind of an, I think you are familiar with the APIs. Okay, APIs generally, suppose let's say you want a ready-made the model in your project. Generally what we do, we try to have the APIs. Suppose that SSL certificate. Okay, for the security purpose I want. Okay, there will be a particular API for that. Similarly, we can create the APIs here also. Understood? Using this robot, using the publish concept. Here right now, for the time being, okay, I'll just demonstrate how to publish this. Okay, so here have a look on this, like how you are getting the versions by default. Okay, the UiPath will give the new version. Let's say it start publishing with 1.0.1. Understood? So you can have the SSL certificates also here. You can create the passwords also. The let us say someone is want to run that the bot. Without the password, they cannot run the bot. You can configure it, okay, by you going, okay, by clicking on this custom button. By the default, I'll go, okay, I'll use this one now, robot default. Now let's say the only thing is what you have to give is release notes. Okay, this project to perform, let's say, arithmetic operation. Arithmetic operation. That's it. Okay, so you can have any notes here, publish it. let's see, if any errors, okay, remember, if any errors, okay, so instead of getting a blue icon here, you will get the red icon. Understood? Why those errors? Errors will be in your program. Understood? Maybe in those files errors are there, that's the reason. So you will get the red icon. Understood? In that cases you cannot publish it. Now since it is okay, so totally it's free of error, so you will get okay in so final like this. And where it is saved, it will be saved in the form of package, remember, okay, and it will be inside this location, okay, program data UiPath package. Understood? Okay, now let me go to that exact location. Let's see whether the package is available or not. Go to this PC, next is go to C drive. Inside C drive, again you go to okay view. Remember, view hidden button, hidden items. Okay, inside this one you will be having program data. Inside program data you will be having UiPath. Inside UiPath you will get two folders here. Inside the package you can see that okay, the file, this is the package. Remember guys, you can use this one as an API later on, and in UiPath the package will be saved in using the extension called okay NUPKG, NuGED package we say, NuGED package we say. Understood? So this is the extension of the UiPath. Okay, the whatever the project you create, packages you create, it will be in the form of NUPKG. Understood? Hope you are clear with this. Now how to run this, that is very important. How to run this package now? If you want to run this package, see, so far I used Studio, UiPath Studio. Now, if I want to run that package, again you go to search button. Okay, inside the search button, type UiPath. Okay, now you can see the second icon. Hope all of you can see the my screen,
Yes,
right? Okay, so there is a second icon here called the UiPath robot. Understood? Hit on UiPath robot. Now the moment when you hit on that, you can see that okay, the bot will be working in the background. Okay, and you can see the bot here, which is offline. All of you can see the screen on my down right corner. Okay, you can see the screen with the new icon called UiPath robot. Hit on this. Now what happens here is, okay, so since the package is available on my that exact with the location, understood, and that package, okay, it UiPath robot will trigger that package whenever some activity happens, event happens, that okay, the package will trigger, okay, and based upon the requirements, understood, it try to give the results. Just imagine guys, someone is trying to ping me at late night 3 o'clock. Understood? It's not possible for me to wake up, okay, and to reply him. What I will do, I will activate my UiPath robot. Understood? So it will take care of all the rest of the things here. Understood? Now next is since let's say, let me try to update this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, the moment let's try to update. The moment when I update it, now you can see. Okay, 1 second. A job started executing. Okay, demo. Hope all of you can see here. So this is my project, right? Demo group 2. Just now what I created, right? Participants. Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir.
Just now what I created, this project, okay, which is in the form of package. You can run this. Just keep it run. If some event occurred means that will take care of it. Understood? This is in the local system, guys. Understood? Okay, we can do it in the local system. Similarly, we can deploy this one in the remote machines also and the cloud also using the orchestrator. Okay, hope you are clear with those two difference. Be flexible while saving and running the data, and publishing and running the data. It's totally different. Okay, in UiPath. Next is let me have if statement very quickly. I'll try to cover not if. Let's have another the feature called decision flow. Okay, flow decision. Here also, let's try to have let's try to make the decisions now. So far to make the decision, remember, so far in the previous projects I used sequence, right? I was using sequence. Now let's try to, if you want to have certain kind of a decisions, you want to take decisions, so you can make use of the flow chart. Okay, now let's start. Instead of using sequence, now I'll use flow chart. Okay, hit on flow chart. Let's say flow decision. I'll have flow decision, name of the my next the file flow decisions. Click on this. Hold on. So I hope all of you can see the screen now. Okay, so the major difference here is If you take sequences, see in sequences, okay, you will get the option like this. Only one flow you should follow, okay, while executing the program. But in the flow decision, you will get many options, four-way options. You can have sub programs, few part of the program here, project here, on the left corner, right corner, okay, up corner, down corner, okay. So next is, let me try to have Boolean expression 0 or 1. What I will do, I'll take two numbers, okay, I'll compare that number, okay, and after that I will send a message, okay, if it is correct or not. Let's say two numbers, 12, 12, I'll put the condition like 12 equal to 12. If it is true, it should display me, yeah, numbers are equal. Otherwise, numbers are not equal. Understood? To do that one, similarly, let's try to have input dialog box. I'll keep here, okay, keep it here. Next, click on this. Please enter the number. Please enter. Let's say please enter. Okay, please enter the first number. Please enter the first number. First number. Next, in the same way, Control K. Okay, num1 or bol1. I'll have bol1, boolean 1. Okay, enter it. Again, go back here. Remember, in flow chart, okay, method bit different. Like it's not like a sequence. Again, go back here. Flow description. You can see input dialog box here. Now, next is again take one more input dialog box. Keep it here. Next. Okay, click on this. Please enter. Okay, please enter number. Okay, please enter the number, whatever it is. Now, next, please enter the second number. Please enter the. Okay, enter the second number. Please enter the second number. Please enter the second number. Now next to Control K. Okay, Control K. Next to bold2. Bold2. Okay. Done. Again go back here. Flow chart. Now next, okay. I want to compare. Now I have two numbers. I want to put the condition. Okay. So to put the conditions, generally what we do, we make use of the method called under activity panel. There is a method called flow decision. Okay, and flow decision you will get inside the flow chart. Okay, there is a workflow. Okay, there is an option called workflow. Under workflow, flow chart will be there. Under flow chart, there is an option called flow decision. Understood? There are other options also like switch statement. Okay, flow chart statement, we can do it. Let's start with flow decision. To take that, just drag and drop it. Okay, drag and drop it here. Okay, now you can see, now after taking two input, I'm going to take the decision. So hit on this, click on this. Now, okay, so the moment when you hit on this, on the property panel, okay, you will get the option here. Okay, four options will be there. You can put the condition. This is the name of the, okay, the decision flow. First, false label and true labels. Right now, true label is with the true. False label is with false. Understood? Now let's try to put the condition. Now the condition is, as I told you, let's try to compare the two numbers. Bol1 equals to bol2. Okay, equals to bol2. That's it. That's it, right? If you take this in other programming language, you might have, especially computer science students might have felt that pain. Understood? If I want to compare two numbers, how many lines of programs we should write? Yes or no? Here there is no lines of, there is no code at all. Understood? Just drag and drop it. If you know the sequence, it's so easy. Okay, so okay. Now next is I have put the condition. Now after putting the condition, it will compare. It fetches the two values from the input dialog box. It compare the value. Okay, whether the bol1 is equal to bol2. If it is true, it will display a message. If it is false, also it will display a message. Now how to display the message? Let's try to have drag and drop it. Message box 1. Okay, message box 1, I have dragged and dropped message box 1. Here you try to have both the numbers are, okay, let's have both the numbers, okay, numbers are equal. Why to have both the numbers are equal? Okay, numbers are equal. Okay, numbers are equal. That's it. Okay, again you go to check the flow, guys. Go to data flow. Okay, so I have sent one message. This is for true. When the value is 1, okay, so instead of using one value, I'm going to send a message like numbers are equal. Okay, numbers are equal. Now in the same way, if numbers are not equal, okay, I'll just take one more message box, drag and drop it here. Okay, so let me try to have it. Okay, hold on. Let me delete this. Okay, so you can see on the right corner, sorry, left corner, keep it here. Done. Hit on this here. Both the numbers are not equal. The numbers are not equal. That's it. Numbers are not equal. Numbers are not equal. That's it. Okay. So again, you go to flow. Have a look on the flow. Okay. Flow chart. Okay. I started with start to input dialog box to get the number. Then I took flow decision. Next to flow message box 1, message box 2. Okay. To perform Boolean operation. Save it. Okay. Or you can publish also. Run it. Let's see. Okay, what results it's going to give me. Hold on. Takes little time. Yeah, yes. Please enter the first number. Let's say 12. Next is, let's say 12. Okay. The numbers are equal. Can you see this? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the numbers are equal. That means it is performing Boolean operation here. The same way, let me try to run again. That means it has executed this path. Remember. A start, input dialog box, next to decision. After decision, it has executed this path. Okay, in the same way, let's try to execute this path now. Start, input dialog box, decision and 0. Okay, so this dialog. Let me try to run again. Run again. Next is, hold on. Yes, let's have 12. Next, let's have 13. 12 and 13. The numbers are not equal. Hope you are clear. This is how the decision flow works. In the same way, let's try to practice this guy. Even I haven't tried this. If I already have published one package with the same project, again I'll try to publish another package. Okay, so publish it. Okay, now you can see here. Have a look on this. Before I had the version like 1.0.1. Now when you are publishing second time, it gives the version like 1.0.2. Let's say please. Arithmetic operation. I'll have arithmetic operation. Okay, arithmetical operation. Arithmetic operation. That's it. Publish it. Now let's try to see whether I just want to know. Okay, whether this. Okay, so the moment when I publish second time, whether that will overwrite my existing folder or the package, or it will create the new package. I just want to know that. Okay, so okay. Again, you go to C drive. Okay, this PC. Next is C drive. Under C drive, go to program data, view hidden items. Okay, program data. Now next is under this, go to UiPath. Under the UiPath, you will be having package. Now have a look on this. It is not overwriting. Hope you are clear, participants. Okay, it's not overwriting. It has created the new package. Okay, the new package. Okay, is called in the version called 1.0.2. Old package will be there. Okay, so this can be an interview question also when you are second time publishing, whether it is going to override the already existed package or it will create the new package. So you should be able to answer this participants. Hope you are clear with this. Any questions so far? So far, any questions, participants? Hello.
No, sir.
No questions. It's so easy, right? It's easy,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. Let's have, yeah. Shall I continue one more program? After that, we'll wind up. Is it okay? Maybe I'll take 10 minutes more.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Let's have one more control flow. Okay. Let's have flow chart. Let's say if condition. If condition created. Now let's try to have. We'll try to perform if condition now. Okay, if number is greater. Okay, how we can do it now? Now next is here. I'll take one number. I'll compare that one with the other number greater than XYZ number. Understood? And let's see how if condition will work here. Okay, let's say input dialog box. Okay, so I have taken input dialog box. Enter the number. Pretty straightforward. Okay, enter the number. Enter number. Okay, so next is please enter the number. Please enter the number. Okay, please enter the number. Control K. Let's have let's say num123. Okay, save it. But here, since it is an integer general value, it has taken generic value. So let's try to convert this one into integer type. Okay, so I've done it. Next, again you go to, let me save this. Next is again you go to if continue. Okay, that is the main flow chart here. The next is, okay, I want to use if condition. So if you want to use if condition, just type if here on the activity panel. Let's see whether I'm going to get or not. Have a look on this. Under available, there is a workflow. Under workflow, there is an option called control. Under control, you have the if statement. Drag and drop it. Okay, it's not like this. 1 second, delete it. Just drag and drop it. Keep it here. Okay, soon after the dialog box, have a look on this. Okay, the flow should be like this. Okay, now next is hit on this, click on this. Here, have a look on this if condition. Okay, if condition. This is the flow chart of the if condition. If that is the condition, then what to display, or else what to display. Okay, so now next is already I've taken number 1, 2, 3. So what I will do inside the condition, I'll call that number 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I will have greater than 10. If the number is greater than 10, what to do? Okay, what action I should take? If the number is greater than 10, if it is a true, next what I will do, I'll try to send one message using my message box. Just to go to activity panel. Okay, select the message box, drag and drop inside this activity here. Okay, hope you are clear. You might maybe
Yes,
in the
sir.
first time, okay, you will while just check the flow here inside then I have dragged and dropped the message box here. Understood? So drag and drop the message box. Okay, the number is, let's try to write, the number is the greater than 10. The number is greater than 10. Okay, greater than 10 I want to display. If it is not, means I should have, okay, in the else part. Okay, again I'll go to message box, drag and drop it. Oh my God. Again you go to not here. Let me delete this. Okay, go to if statement. Again you go to message box. Okay, drag and drop inside the else condition. Okay, so here type it. The number is less than 10. Okay, less than 10. That's it. Over. Okay, so number is less than 10. Again you go to control flow here. Have a look on this. There are only 2 here. If statement contains only 2 statements, 2 dialog box. Input dialog box to get the number, and you put the condition, then you display whatever you want. That's it. Okay, so now next is save it, run the program, save and run the program. Okay, it will ask me to give the number. Let's say the number be, 1 second, it's executing. Okay, let's say, please enter the number. Let's say the number be 15. Enter it. Okay, the number is greater than 10. It's true, right? Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. In the same way, let's try to run again. Okay. Run again. Number is greater than 10. Okay. Let's try to give lesser number now.
Sir, give 10, sir.
Yeah. I will try with the 10 also. Okay. Let's have 9. Okay. Number is lesser than 10. Okay. So it is executing. Let's start with the 10 now. Okay. Let's see what I'm going to get. Run again. Run again. Run again. Okay. So let's give 10. Enter it. The number is lesser than 10. Correct? Yes or no? Participants. Hello.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Yes, lesser than 10. That means
Yes,
it will
sir.
consider the number till 10. It is lesser. Okay, more than that, 11 it will consider. Hope you
can
are
we
cleared. Yes. Any questions?
can we repeat the process?
Which one?
Like if it is less than 10, input again.
If it is lesser than. You want me to run again?
No, sir.
Hello.
Like if it is less than 10, run automatic without pressing run.
I didn't get you, buddy. If it is lesser than 10,
If it is lesser than 10, then go
Okay.
back to start.
yeah, we can do it. We have to have the iteration part there. So right now we have not done. It's just a forward processing I'm doing. Understood? I'm not going to have the cycles here. Iteration part we are not going to do it. We'll do it in the next session. Is it okay? First, till here you just try to practice. Understood? So far, I think we have executed 4 to 5 programs. Practice that one. Okay, I will upload this one in my YouTube channel. Practice that one. Next session we'll try to take this one into the next level. Okay, how to execute in the clouds, etc. Fine. Any other questions, participants? Hello. Hello. Hello.
No, sir.
Yeah, okay then. Okay then. Shall we wind up?